course, we're going to go back during the Q&A session. So I invite everybody here to write in the comment section, and you can write your questions to all your any other members of the panel. So thank you very much. We're going to move to Mike Levy. I just want to say hello to Jen Walters, Dr. Jen Walter, who just joined us. I'm sending also a camera request. She also will be next in line for her story sharing. So Mike, how are you today, this morning?
Doing well. I'm glad that you put together such a good opportunity here. I've founded about five different companies over the past 40 years. And I haven't been an employee in a long time. You know, I've always been the CEO, but I started Sportsline back in early 1994. And the reason I started it was that I believed that eventually everybody would be online. But at the time, there was no commercial internet. The biggest online services were Prodigy, CompuServe, and America Online. But they all had over 1 million users, and I figured that none of them were really doing sports properly. And I could go into a vertical market for sports that featured statistics and scores and news and fantasy leagues and games and contests and so on, with a lot of photographs and that nature. Now, I could have made a huge mistake back in 1994, and that is that I could have made this a dial-up service like AOL and Prodigy. But the only reason I didn't make that mistake is that I didn't have any money. So before when I finally raised money later in 1994, actually I raised it from a guy who was who made all the Christmas trees for Walmart. He was not exactly a high-tech guy, but I raised $2 million, and by that time Netscape was downloading browsers. Netcom had gone public as the first national internet service provider, and you could see that the internet was going to be the way to go. Unfortunately, everybody else thought the same thing. So in early 95, entrepreneurs out the kazoo were starting companies. I was fortunate enough, I was first of all unlucky that ESPN and Sports Illustrated and Sporting News and almost anybody that had anything to do with sports wanted to do the same thing I did. But I was fortunate in getting a partner like Kleiner Perkins. They were our first venture capital backer. So they put in $3 million. We went from 5 employees to 45 employees in the matter of about 4 months, and created the whole Sportsline service. By the way, Sportsline today is CBSSports.com. We ultimately raised over $200 million in public markets, and then sold to CBS later. And the service still operating. It's operating out of South Florida still. But we launched a soft launch. We didn't know how we were going to make money. And we thought that we could charge a subscription fee. And about 10 of us got in the room one day, and we said, well, how much do you think people will pay? And we thought, oh, maybe $4.95 a month. If they go for a whole year, it'll be $39.95 for the year. So that was our plan. And we started with a beta launch in June 1st. And Joe Namath was one of our partners, and he signed 75 footballs. And every day we gave away a Joe Namath autographed football and a lottery for whoever was on the service. And everything was free. So even then, back in 95, we signed up 50,000 people in that 75-day period. And then it came time to do the official launch, which we did on August 15th before football season. So we did the launch at the Waldorf Astoria. Bob Costas was our MC. And what happened when we announced that we were charging $4.95 a month, those 50,000 people all disappeared. We said, whoa, what do we do now? You know, I guess we're going to have to do an advertising model, because a subscription model is not going to work. Well, I'd never sold an ad in my life, and neither had anyone else that worked at the company. So we said, well, we better at least start to develop some traffic. So we made everything free, and it turned out to be the right thing, because by the end of the year we had over 1 million users, and that enabled us to. And we were running out of money when we made the disastrous decision. The only thing that saved us was there was a football game, a Monday night football game between the 49ers and the Dolphins in Miami. And our guy from Kleiner Perkins, who's pretty famous on his own today, he's the owner of the Golden State Warriors, Joe Lacob. Joe came down, his timing was to watch that Monday night football game. So we went to the game that night, and the 49ers won. I was happy to see the Dolphins lose for once. So, at least he was happy. The next day, he loaned us $1.5 million. And then in January of the next year, we raised 11 million. And then in fall, we raised 16. And in early '97, we signed up CBS, and the service became CBS Sportsline. We got Michael Jordan as a partner, Shaquille O'Neal as a partner, Tiger Woods as a partner. And in late '97, we took the company public and raised 32 million, and 4 months later, 150 million in a secondary. So we've survived the mistake. And I think just one more point is that as far as the NFL goes, we were running Baseball Live, which was a play-by-play depiction. We switched on the NFL. We did the same thing, and the NFL sued us. They said we didn't have the right to do that. So that was another mistake I made.
So you basically turned lemon into lemonade.
Well, I got lucky a little bit too. I mean, especially against the ESPN.
Yes, and I remember, we talked about this story, I guess, a week and a half ago on the phone, and it seems like you were really rock bottom. You had your amazing plan. You were sure that's it. We're going to do it, and then reality showed you different. Otherwise, and when you were in the lowest point, in this rock bottom point, I was wondering, did it affect you emotionally, personally, your employees, maybe your board, you need people you need to report to or manage? How did you feel in this?
I was concerned about employees, because I hired some top-notch people, particularly software designers and marketing people and so on. And I was concerned about them because I pulled a lot of them out of really good jobs. I didn't have any emotional issues on my own. If I did, I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. If you can't deal with these kind of things, don't start a company. So anyway, I was worried about the employees. I think that some of them had some concerns, but I don't think that any of them really believed that we weren't going to be able to pull it out, because we were showing progress every week.
Yeah. Do you think your resilience or strength was also kind of making them feel more calm, more, feel confident about the situation?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I always showed a lot of confidence. The employees never saw me in any kind of down mood because of the finances. The only guy that really even knew what was going on all the way was my head of finance. And he was the one that was having to slow down on paying bills and all the other things. So he was probably the only one really affected.
Because my next question for you would be, how or who helped you to overcome this? So obviously your financial head of finances was, kind of trying to help, but who did you consult with? Was it someone from your personal life, professional life? What helped you really, make a difference and get out of it?
I think that the biggest thing was the Kleiner Perkins relationship, because at the time they were the #1 venture capital company. They were the ones that backed Amazon and Google, America Online, Sun Microsystems. They were really a powerful force, and John Doerr was considered at the time to be the top venture capital guy in the country. So with those guys as investors, and with Joe Lacob being such a passionate sports fan, we had strong guys there to help us out.
Great. So you basically used their advice and professional experience, and
more importantly, they put in more money.
Their money. That's definitely more important. Great, Mike. So thanks so much for sharing this. Again, I invite all our